Good evening, or good morning in the case of Pat and I. Welcome to a quick chat about the Leyton Orient game and how it is being a Premier League, I guess, footballing giant and going to the lower leagues and navigating what can be something quite tricky. And many people were saying, well, until today, that it hasn't been an FA. There haven't been too many of the giant FA Cup shocks of old for quite a long time. It's been a long time since someone up there in the Champions League, up there in the Premier League, has gone to somewhere hopeless and lost. So that's what everyone was expecting on Saturday as we went to Brisbane Road. What did you think, Pat?
Morning, Rich. Morning, everybody. Happy Super Bowl Monday, Sunday, wherever you are. Look, I think first things first, mate, what we need to do is just sort of put a bit of a dampener on the fire, because I think a few people were, especially online, were having a bit of a meltdown about the way we performed, especially.
I thought you were going to say, thought we should start by laughing at the Scousers, but no.
Well, you do that better than anybody, mate. So yeah, the floor's yours. But no, I just sort of clear the air about the weekend and like, look, yeah, sure, it wasn't pretty. Got a little, and Leyton Orient got a little bit lucky, but sometimes you make your luck, and with the magic of the FA Cup, sometimes it actually makes these things more special, really. But look, I don't think we can really. We can all admit that basically it was a tale of two halves. We were poor in that first half, but we stuck in there and we got the job done. I think when you go to these lower league teams in the FA Cup, especially away, there's a lot of factors that you have to bring in that you just don't do when you're at the Etihad. And I think if we played that way, if this fixture was at home when we played that way, there'd be a lot more to critique, and I think there'd be a lot more to be upset about. But look, at the end of the day, we got the win. We're progressing, unlike some other teams. So can't really fault anybody. I think these are just one of these games that you're not going to look at the end of the season and be like, oh, that was a struggle, or we were terrible, or anything like that. I was just happy that we got the results. It was good to see some new players come in, despite obviously what happened to Nico Gonzalez. We hope it's nothing too serious yet, but if anybody has any updates in the chat, please let us know. So yeah, look,
yeah.
I was disappointed about the first half, but I sort of even the way we came out in the second half, I didn't really. It kind of calmed me down, basically.
Did it not just show you? I mean, I guess my feeling watching it is how much better the lower leagues are than they used to be. How much, I remember watching, you'd lose, and City did. We went to places like Cardiff and lost, when I was a kid. But you'd go down the leagues and you'd lose games, but they'd be lost. They'd be lost physically. You know, back in the day, there'd be FA Cup upsets, but it was very often the conditions played a big part. There was, you know, really physical, strong, you know, butchers in these lower league teams who would really kick. I think what you really noticed about, to me, about Leyton Orient is, you know, they were in many ways a mini version of a Premier League team, in that the movement was at Kelman they had up front, you know, fitter than you would ever have seen.
Yeah, Kelman was amazing for them. He was brilliant.
He ran. He was like a Jamie Vardy almost, in his ability to just keep running, keep creating runs, keep creating space, keep pulling our defenders apart. You know, we obviously saw in Donnelly, you know, who was on loan from Spurs and has played a couple of games for Spurs. But you saw a player there who has the quality to do, you know, a David Beckham pretty much, you know, from the halfway line. I mean, we can argue about whether it was a foul before the opportunity came, but, you know, what a finish. And I thought there was some quality with that. I thought the goalie, I thought Keeley looked very good, and he wasn't.
Keeley at times was like Paddy Kenny when we in the QPR game.
But he also constantly brought the ball down with his feet, and although he was looking to move the ball longer than a Premier League, you know, than most Premier League keepers now, he was still, you know, a footballer, someone who was, you know, quite happy to take the ball at his feet and look for a pass. And so I thought, you know, I was quite impressed with Leyton Orient as a team. I think Richie Wellens is doing a good job there, and you could see why they've only lost 2 of, you know, I think it'd been 2 of 16 going into that, because they've got some good footballers. Even in
and looking forward for them too, you've got to think of all the other lower league teams who played at this stage of a competition every year. You look at your Cheltenhams, you look at your Peterboroughs and everything like that. The way that they sort of take on, you know, the way that they play against us, they take that sort of mentality into the rest of their league form for a lot of the years. And we've looked back on it. We've looked at these clubs, and they all are either, you know, towards the top half of the league trying to fight for a promotion, or they get an automatic promotion. So, you know, while they might be disappointed that, you know, they didn't progress in this tournament, it's just got to think, if you take all the positives that you take from playing against us, it's going to help you in the long run big time. And, you know, I'd be interested to see in a few months' time if we come back and Leyton and knocking on the door trying to get into the championship.
Yeah, no, I just thought, you know, I thought it was refreshing to see a team that really, you know, gave it a go. Actually, you know, they were a bit rough with us at times, but they were a footballing side, and the coach had actually thought about how to play against City and had set them up how to play against City, and therefore, you know, they were moving us around, and they were playing to some of our weaknesses, and you know, and if we move on to City and how we played and everything else, I thought you could start to see how Gonzalez was going into the gap we have had. You know, I think, you know, he was in that gap even leading up to the goal. But, you know, what is the curse on our season this season, that we have a replacement for Rodri in 19 minutes? They're down, you know, looked like some kind of hip injury. It wasn't clear whether it was just an impact because the player fell over him and he was just taking a precaution from like bruising and soreness, a bit winded, or whether, you know, he'd done something more. I certainly, I mean, obviously it's just the morning here, so we haven't seen the news, but I certainly hadn't seen any updates on Gonzalez. So I don't know if anyone in the chat has.
Some people have commented saying he won't be available for Madrid. Which, speaking of Madrid, by the way, we will be doing a show at 9 o'clock UK time tomorrow for that. So there'll be Martin will be on for that, plus Tone and with other guests he can get on as well. Yeah. So save that in your diaries. Yep, 9 o'clock, 9 p.m. tomorrow UK time. We're pre-match for Real Madrid.
Yeah, they've got some Real Madrid, I think, guests on from a
Yeah, got
Real
a Real
Madrid
Madrid
podcast
podcast
or
on as well
something.
too. So
So
we should
yeah,
hear plenty from both sides.
but being old school, I want to talk about Leyton Orient, not Real Madrid. Far more interesting.
Yeah.
And
The only thing missing was the only thing missing, Rich, was that you weren't there.
Yes,
That would be even if you were over for one of your business trips, it's like that's one you'd keep a day aside for, wouldn't you?
I think the fans who went down for that would have had especially, well, I think the older ones would have had a real nostalgia.
Oh God, yeah,
because there were plenty of those grounds we used to go to. I mean, Brisbane Road back 1930s, I think it was built, and it's less than 10,000, so it's a real proper old school suburban ground. And although you can see instead of the terraces, there were a lot of newer flats and things around it, you could just see really built into the housing areas. Like
I tell you what, you jump onto that if that was an Airbnb. If you're struggling to get a ticket and you found out that was one of those apartments was an Airbnb, you'd be jumping on that for sure.
Yeah, you probably wouldn't be able to see one of the goals though. You'd probably be on the goals. So going
big
from
up Foggy again, 10 memberships. Thank you so much, mate. Always delivering, mate. I think we're at a point where you're gifting to yourself. So, mate, can't thank you more than enough as always. So yeah.
More than you believe. More than you believe, I'm happy.
So we've talked a bit about Orient. They had, I thought 3 or 4 players I was pretty impressed with. Little bit agricultural at times. I thought they did get away with a few things. Had VAR been in place, I think it may well have been 10 men for them. I think that the challenge, particularly the studs down the back of the leg, was going too far, and I did think we could have had a couple of penalties. Not that I'm begrudging that when you're playing in the lower leagues. I think it was a good game, and it was good to have some excitement around it. But what did you think about how City played? Which players, if any, did you think put their hand up to play on? Is it Tuesday or Wednesday night? I always forget. Tuesday night. Which ones do you think put their hands up to play? Obviously, a lot of players rested, assuming that's with, Real Madrid in mind. But which ones do you think put their hand up and said, I need to play? What did, for example, you think about, the likes of O'Reilly and Grealish, I guess.
We'll start first things first. I mean, probably the standouts from the poor first half was Savio. I feel like every time he got the ball down the right-hand side, that was where our biggest threats were coming from. But besides that, it wasn't necessarily happening from anywhere else. I mean, Jack was a little bit slow to get into the game, but he got much better as the game went on. Again, I had no problems with that with the lineup because I like that little bit of a balance of control on one side and rapid, basically rapid pace on the ball from coming from one side, another side of the field. So I had no problems with that. I was happy to see a few debutants come on as well too. I am very, very curious to see what Pep does with his mixing of centre back pairings. I said this on Dapster's show yesterday too. Is we're liking what we're kind of seeing at the moment, and this double partnership or swap, change of partnership at 45 minutes when. We had Diaz and Vitor Hayes, playing together in the first half, which if anybody goes by what they've sort of been scouting online, a lot of people have been talking about Vitor Hayes being sort of like a regen of John Stones. So what better way to have, a very, a good defender on the ball than have a proper, good old school style centre back and Ruben Diaz next to you. And then for the second half, when you have John Stones on, then you replace Ruben Diaz with your big bustling centre back in Kuznov coming on as well too. I know some people were trying to critique Vitor Hayes, first game and everything like that, but I think he handled himself relatively well. There's a couple of times he got muscled off the ball, and sometimes he was scrambling back as well. But I think it was him who actually managed to scramble back. There was a play before they scored where one of their players put a really good ball through the middle to Kelman, I think it was, and Ortega actually started by being a little bit off his line for that, but he actually managed to recover and make a really good save. But I think going just quickly sidetracking that too, I think that's why they had a crack from halfway, because I think they saw Ortega off his line in that play, and I think that's what they sort of targeted afterwards. But going back to what I said about Victor Hayes, I think he wasn't terrible, and I think not saying you're immune from criticism, but this guy has to get his bearings about English football, and I think it's a good debut to go down to a proper old school ground in lower leagues as well too.
Yeah,
it's probably more of an experience for him than if he was, say, playing a Premier League side in this round of the tournament.
Yeah.
So,
but you could see that in our Champions League squad and everything else, and even the game against Chelsea, Kuzanov was picked before, and I thought you could see in the Leyton Orient game that Kuzanov, particularly physically, is a fair bit ahead of Race at the moment. I think Hayes is, he was nice with the ball, he recycled it well, but I thought Kuzanov looks like he's got a bit about him. I think Kuzanov, even though he's young, give him a few games and I think he'll be right up physically, pace-wise, to the rough and tumble of the Prem, and I think he looks like someone who wants to get a bit stuck in and will bring us a bit of that pace and physicality. There were a few moments in this game where he got back, a couple of fouls, but good fouls, and a couple of times he got back and did something, and actually
remember that
able to respond to Kelman's pace better than anyone else.
Yeah. Well, when he barreled into that left winger, and I think that they got a free kick for it, you noticed after that they did not want anything to do with him. They started moving a lot of their play to the right hand side, trying to target John Stones and what was it, Nico O'Reilly. They were targeting that side. So then he just went over and just started assisting John Stones and just absolutely barreled through them as well. So the kid's not only got the potential to be an absolute world class defender, but he looks like someone who's absolutely just going to create mind games for his opponents as well too. And that's going to be just as good a battle as it is going to be anything physically between him being marked up. I think we're all talking about pace on pace. Like eventually, he'll play games where he's marked up against, say, like a Vinicius Junior. But like, if I'm looking forward to the days when we see defending against like a Diego Costa style striker or something like that. Like it's going to be an absolute pitch battle. Yeah.
In the words of Clive Dunn, Vinicius Junior doesn't like it up him. I don't think he like playing against her. As long as he stays on the right side of the law, Vinicius Junior shrinks in games when a good defender actually stops him and physically, and So I think there's a player there who could be a bit of a cult hero, because I think we've perhaps lacked in recent times that kind of Andy Morrison, Nigel de Jong type cult hero who really gets stuck in, and I think Kuzanov to me looks like he brings that to his game. And I did think he looked a lot. I mean, he is 2 years older and he's played in Europe, but to me he looked far more ready for the physicality of the Prem than Victor Hayes. But Victor Hayes looked like he's a footballer. To me, he looks like, though he's young, though he looked a bit uncertain, he looks like he can do a John Stones and beat a man, take the ball forward, and be a great footballer. The one you didn't call out in the first half that I actually thought does deserve a shout out, and I thought was a big part of Savinho being good, was I thought Lewis. I thought Lewis looked by far the most.
I said that yesterday too. I said he did not allow himself to get bullied, because when I saw him in the lineup, I thought, is he going to get muscled off the ball a lot? But he didn't. He held his own relatively well. Yeah, his positioning was good going forward as well. He didn't make too many mistakes.
He brought the ball.
I also said a big thing too. I said a big thing too was, do you know who he really missed on Saturday, and he was meant to play, was Oscar Bob. If he'd had Oscar Bob playing ahead of him down that right-hand side, I think their link-up play would have been absolutely sensational. I go back to like last season away at Crystal Palace, how good they were together. And, you know, how much I think we're missing that, and I think how much Rico's missing that too, because I think that would have been a big factor on a lot of his performances. But yeah, to see him have a relatively good game, at least it was at least an above average game, or a much more improved game on previous performances. It was a good thing to see.
I thought it was a very good game. I think he looked very often. He was the engine of the team. He was the one getting the ball forward.
Yep.
He was the one, you know, protecting the ball, getting the ball, keeping possession. So I actually thought he had a very good game. And, you know, I thought, you know, of our younger players, and obviously you can't necessarily call him a younger player now. I thought McAtee was anonymous quite a bit. I thought Nico Riley looked quite uncertain at times, but I did think that Lewis looked like the consummate Premier League player playing there. Now he's playing against worse players, and I appreciate he hasn't been playing at that same level against better footballers in the Premier League. But you know, hopefully that got him a bit of confidence back, and hopefully it got a few of the haters off his back, because I'm feeling a bit of Richard Edgehill, you know, bit of Richard Edgehill support coming on. And then I think Martin wants us to say a huge thank you to Stop Online Hate. Couldn't agree more. Togetherness wins and love always wins. Member
He's
for
always
15
put it up like a
months.
bloody strobe light.
SOS 2907. Member for 21 months. That's almost a Haaland-like contract.
Yeah, you're almost there.
Yeah. What happens
if
we
took 21 months to read them out?
Yeah. Adam Quinn, member for 15 months. Fantastic. And that's because he's hoping Chris Wood will sign in July and he'll get 12.
More than you believe. More than you believe, I'm happy.
He cut you off with that for a reason. Martin also needs to come on for a few minutes as well too. Just needs to just address some issues, just address some matters as well. So he should be joining us briefly for a few minutes sometime in the not too distant future. Sorry.
But all in all, I think, you know, I thought O'Reilly a little bit uncertain. I thought, you know, you did see some real quality in that. I thought Jack Grealish's pass to De Bruyne was pretty much as good as anything as Jack has done in terms of a pass in his time at City. I thought it was absolutely world-class past that. And a world-class finish from De Bruyne. I mean, it's been a while since we've seen De Bruyne energetic enough to get behind the defence. So to actually see him and, you know, him put in that finish, I think was a moment of real quality. I thought Marmoush was, you know, ran his heart out and, you know, created some chances, but just wasn't
unlucky not to get a goal.
To be his day. Yeah. Just didn't seem to be his day. But, you know, getting to the 5th round of the cup isn't for everyone. I mean, it's, you know, it's not easy to go to the lower league teams, you know. I mean, it's easier to go to ones that are really struggling than it is to go to teams like Leyton Orient who are good. But to get into the 5th round is something, you know, that should be celebrated. It is the world's oldest cup, isn't it? It is the, you know, as a kid growing up in Britain, the FA Cup was bigger than the Premier League or the First Division at the time. So
yeah, and of course, fifth round draw will be tomorrow about 7 p.m. UK time as well. So yeah, keep an eye on that. I believe FA Cup, all their social medias will have visuals of the live viewing of the draw. So yeah, keep an eye on that, and I'm sure it'll be discussed who our opponents are briefly when we come back on for our pre-match Real Madrid tomorrow. So yeah, cool.
And it's not on. I don't believe the FA Cup draws on nationally. I believe that it's being shown in all regions except Merseyside. Oh
yeah, of course, yeah, and that's by choice.
Yeah.
Martin, if you're backstage, mate, do you want to come on? Because I've got to start getting ready for my day up.
So it's 7:15 tonight.
No,
tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yeah. So it'll be like 6 a.m. for us.
Yeah. Well, we can start talking about, you know, it cracks me up. on Saturday. I think it was on ESPN. They had their first conversation about Liverpool and the quad.
Of course they did.
So, yeah, they were going to have a follow-up conversation this week.
Mm.
It might be a very short follow-up conversation, but, domestic trebles, quads, they're not for everyone.
No. Now, look, I look at it, and I still think they're definitely favourites for the Premier League, and I think they're up there as favourites for the Champions League as well.
Yeah.
My honest opinion, though, I think my two favourites for the Champions League this season, based off what I've seen so far, I'd have to go with Atletico Madrid and Inter Milan.
They're hard. They're both very hard to beat. They're both very, very hard to beat, and I think very smart. The one thing we've seen for years is just how hard to score against both of those teams are, how good they are defensively, and I think in many ways, Inter Milan, we're a bit scared of City, I thought, in a way, even though they were, I thought we were very evenly matched in the final. I thought Inter Milan showed City too much respect in some ways for too long. Atletico, they're just sly.
You say that, but compared to what last time we played them when they had that very anti-football, they have got pieces in place now, not just including Alvarez. That actually means that they actually play good football. They're actually a lot more. They're a lot more appealing, like a lot better to watch than just this whole parking 10 people at the halfway line and then hoping half your squad can break once you've got you're waiting for two defenders to be flat-footed or something. They actually do play a very, it seems like Simeone's now got the pieces that he wants to actually play like a really good style of football, and that's why they're back top, close to the top of the La Liga, and looking dangerous in the Champions League. So, and I think having Alvarez as well too just offers so much more versatility for them than just a straight out number 9 like Griezmann was for so many years. It's like, he plays the number 9 role, but he also gets stuck in. He helps out the midfield as well, and having so many Argentines and an Argentine manager as well is obviously going to help him as well too. Like, I totally get it. And I'm happy for Alvarez because for him it'll be like home away from home, playing in Madrid, playing for Atleti.
Yeah.
Evening, Martin.
Good evening. I apologise. I've not been on from the beginning. I apologise. I'm not on camera. I just wanted to say hello to everyone. I'm going to disappear again in a minute. I'm not just let everyone know we're not going to be as prominent on Twitter for the foreseeable. So spaces are now completely on hold at the moment. I'm going to be straight and I'm not going to go into it. I'm currently, so I'm not going to give these idiots the airtime, but I am fighting with my other half at the moment to allow me to still continue the channel due to something that happened yesterday that people who know. My other half is very, very upset at the moment, so I'm just trying to deal with that. We are on tomorrow. I'll be back tomorrow as normal, but we'll make a decision by the end of the week. I just need to work on my other half at the moment to try and just calm the waters a little bit, sadly. But yeah, hopefully things will get sorted out. I'm not going to go into it. People know what happened and what was said. So yeah, I just wanted to say hello, and I'll keep throwing your comments up. And keep showing a lot of support. I will nip in it towards the end when Pat has to leave, because Pat can't do a full show.
Well, I'm probably gonna have to wrap up now, mate, because
I'll stay on then.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. See, I told you. Yeah, I brought you in for a reason.
Oh, there you go then. Yeah, there can be asshole things virtually done.
Yeah,
can be assholes done, so I don't see Fring Pong.
He'll be, I reckon he'll be hold as soon as Juventus get knocked out of the Club World Cup. I think within a week we'll see him holding our shirt.
Yeah, nothing can be. I still got done. From my understanding of it, it was just down to an injury why it didn't get done in Jam.
Yeah, okay. So they just moved it to a pre-contract.
Craig, mate, though. Yeah, apparently he had. I'm not sure. What I got told was he had a scan on deadline day, which didn't go down well because he is out injured at the moment.
Yeah, fair enough.
So we'll see.
Sure.
And I think the fee was also an issue, but
yeah. All right, gentlemen.
I will see you soon, Pat.
Thank you. Yep, all good. See you, Rich.
See you soon.
Take care, guys. Enjoy the day. Enjoy the night. All the best. Take care.
I mean, Rich, I totally agree with you. Listen, it's why I called it old school cup game. Because to me, that's what it was. It was an old school cup game. Leyton Orient.
Yeah.
Leyton Orient played exactly as I thought they'd play.
But I think compared to the one thing I said compared to the old school is they do have that little bit of quality that they didn't used to have. You wouldn't have seen Donnelly scoring from 50 metres or some of the running from Kelman, some of the goalkeeping from their keeper. I don't think you'd have seen that a few years ago. I think you can see the influence of players either on loan from big academies or who have had, a real background, in an academy for top flight teams, because you just see the quality is just that little bit better than it used to be. It used to be long grass, mud, and real physical defenders that won the lower leagues their upsets. Now it's it's a bit more than that, and they gave it a damn good go. I mean, they could have got goals in the last 10 minutes. Last 10 minutes, they had 2 or 3 chances. I thought that were,
I mean, listen, but the chances we had, Rich, we should have put it to bed a lot sooner. Yeah, but it is, clear off the line. There was chances. There was all sorts. The thing is, I just want to say, this is just my opinion. I know everyone's had a go at Ortega, and maybe some will think rightfully so. But when you're shooting from the halfway line, I don't want my goalie stood on his line. Edison doesn't stand on his line. Yeah, he shouldn't have got caught out at that distance. I totally agree. But some have said he shouldn't have been that far out. Edison's further out.
Yeah.
He was at the halfway line. He wasn't anticipating him to shoot at that point. It was total pot luck. It was a wonder goal.
Yeah,
it was just a wonder goal.
Yeah,
it was the way it was.
I'm not criticizing him at all for that. I think, good luck. If someone gets a goal like that, good luck to him. It's exceptional. And Ortega was only, millimeters from actually getting back to it as well, even though it was hit almost perfectly. So, that's what happens. And
one thing I do need to say, Rich, because a lot of people think I'm against the academy, and I'm really not. What I've always said about the academy is I would love the academy lads to come through, but I want them to be good enough. I don't just want to put academy lads in just for the sake of throwing academy lads in.
Yeah.
That's what I've always said. Just we're not that same club from that. Even, Mr. Happy Clappy, I know we're not that club from 98 where we're going to bring in bloody Willow, Florden, Barry Conlon, etc. We're not going to do that anymore. They have to be good enough.
I think you could see. I mean, I thought both McAtee and O'Reilly did not show what we'd have been looking for them to show in a game like that to really be pushing for the first team. I thought the one of the younger or the new players, I thought Kusanov looked like he was, at that level of physicality and, confidence to play. I thought Victor Heiss looked like he'll be a good footballer, but he did look a little bit, probably physically like he might need a bit of a few months to build up physically. But I thought Kusanov looked like he's right ready in the mix. And unfortunately, Nico Gonzalez, we barely got to have a look at him before he's going off injured. And, I'm hearing everything that he should be all right for Madrid to he's out for 2 months. So I think it's all speculation. I don't know if anyone knows anything about.
We don't know. Nico Gonzalez at the moment is seen as an impact injury. Now, I know this physio guy on Twitter has put out this big long spiel if it could be 6 weeks, it could be 2 weeks, it could be 3 days. He was literally covering all bases. Now,
Yeah.
the thing is, we won't know fully. There's an open training session, I believe, tomorrow, and we'll see if he takes part in that. But I think we just got to wait and see what the drill is tomorrow before we know. Nobody knows anything right now, so we've all just got to calm. My thing is, we've got to calm down. I've seen too much. People have been throwing mamoosh abuse around after 3 games. I don't know what it's like. People expecting 4 new signings, and we suddenly become the Manchester City of old. That was never happening. It was, it's a rebuild. You don't expect a stunning, brand spanking new house halfway through a rebuild. Some of it looks nice, and some of it looks like a bloody building site.
Yeah.
And that's exactly how our team looks at the moment. They're going to take time. So anyone thinking we're just going to run in and become the old Manchester City, I'm sorry, you need to understand this is patience.
Yeah. And
this is a patient game.
Will be a different Manchester City because Kusanov's definitely a different style than we've had. So I think he brings something different. So I think there will be a few changes. I think Marmoush brings something different we haven't had. And whilst people are thinking Gonzalez might be a mini Rodri and, Victor Heiss might be a mini Stones, possibly, we'll see. We have brought some different styles in too. So, I think it will change things up.
Yeah. I mean, O'Reilly agree with Craig. He's not had a chance in his position because he's not a fullback.
Yeah.
So we don't know. The sad thing with O'Reilly is I don't think he will make it. I don't think he will make it. Well, I don't know if he is lacking confidence. I don't know if Mamouche is lacking confidence. It's 3 games in.
Yeah, I don't think he's lacking confidence.
3 games in.
I think he's just been a bit unlucky. He's been slightly offside a couple of times. He's had a cracking save from the goalkeeper. I think he's shown the confidence to have a go and get himself in position to take the shots. So I'd say he's confident. And I'd say he'll probably get a game against Madrid.
Yeah. No news. We'll know fully tomorrow, Connor. Exactly new signings. So you take time to bed in. Let's have a look. So I'm just going through these, Rich, if you don't mind. True, Martin, all the cogs have to be turned together. Exactly, Michael. We've got to give them time. I don't understand it. People panicking already. Listen, I'm going to be straight with you, and I'm going to do it in a very professional way. But I'm going to do a very special episode either this week or next week of Martin Talks, where I'm going to go through my honest thoughts on this season, the way everyone's reacting. Because I'm going to be straight, I do not want to go through another season like this. I don't mind on the field. I cannot do another season off the field like this again. It's emotionally draining this season, and it's not making it fun. Because, thankfully, our community and our chat is amazing. It's sensible, but too many people are losing their mind. And they're going OTT. They're going way OTT at the moment. And people just need to relax and calm down. Seriously need to calm down. And it's nothing to do with standards, or it's to do with patience. Everyone wants everything done at once, and that isn't going to happen. Rome wasn't built in a day, and we're going through a rebuild. People have just got to relax. But anyway, listen, I was happy with yesterday, Rich.
Yeah,
I do agree with that penalty. Leyton Orient, we're not going to sit back.
We've seen today what a team who are
exactly
much better than us this season, going to a team that are actually much worse than Leyton Orient this season. And we've heard for you know, I was saying that ESPN on Friday had a show about the quad, and you know that hasn't even lasted 2 days because the FA Cup has the potential that anyone, no matter how good they think they are, can go out of it, and that is beauty of the FA Cup, and it is beautiful when it's not City you go out, and it is one of our you know, disliked rivals that go out.
I think there's been a little bit too much disrespect on this cup competition this weekend. I've felt there's been a lot of really a touch of arrogance about the competition. A lot of people are like, it's only the FA Cup. And like I said to someone, you don't understand the magic of the FA Cup. The cup is over 150 years old. It is known for shots. It is known for the giant killings.
Yeah. I think it partly reflects age. Like, you know, I was saying to Pat that growing up in the UK, even into the 80s and 90s, the FA Cup was the biggest football thing of the year. You know, we didn't watch until Sky came in and, you know, in the 90s started bringing in televised football, and there was a little bit of it before Sky. Generally, you didn't watch much football. There wasn't much football on to see. You know, you had match of the day, you had highlights, but the FA Cup was that one game every year where the whole country stopped and, you know, the whole country watched it. The whole country knew all the, you know, 22 players who were going to play. And it was massive. It was bigger. It was, in many ways, winning the FA Cup was as big as winning the league easily, you know. Probably got more publicity.
I mean, can I just say this? Formidable, yeah. We would have a different conversation for the outcome. But would we? Formidable, maybe you would, but I'm going to speak for me. For me, I wouldn't. It is what it is. I don't know what you're expecting this season, Formidable. You got to just enjoy it. It's like people are expecting us, you know, because I'm telling you now, we don't beat Madrid 3-0 or we don't win on Tuesday, you'll have another meltdown. And we can't keep doing it. We are where we are. People have just got to really calm down.
Yeah, there's always different conversations based on the outcome. I mean, if Arsenal had missed their last four chances last weekend and we got a lucky 90th minute winner, everything would have been about how Arsenal had chucked the league. Should Arteta be fired? You know, as it was, we got bad. So it's about our problems, gaping hole in midfield, and that's just life. Because football is a game. You know, it is a game of results. And
the treble, Rich, the treble was so special. People have never realised how special that treble was, and they haven't realised what monumental lengths we went to. You've seen today with Liverpool, it is not easy to do a treble. It is not easy. You have got to have everything falling, everyone on form at the right time, and you've got to go above and beyond. The treble is something that has been done twice in nearly 30 years. It is not an easy feat. And people are taking that as a normal standard. It is not a normal standard. We went above and beyond in that season. And that's why I will always hold the treble to my highest ever as a football fan. But I will stick to what I've always said. The treble was a great thing, and it was also a bad thing. Because it took everyone's expectations completely into a brand new stratosphere that was never possible.
Yeah, but yeah, people, you know, you support your football club for, you know, the people, what it is. You know, it really, you know, it really isn't about success. And I just keep saying this. There's 92 clubs in the league. All of them have a lot of fans. All of them have a lot of great fans. And, you know, if those 92 clubs, 80 of them probably won't win anything in a decade, you know, short of maybe winning a lower league title. You know, 60 or 70 of them will never win anything. You know, there's big clubs that have never won a single League Cup. They've been in the top flight for decades. You've never won a single cup. So it's, you know, everything's special. Everything's amazing. And you can't melt down and get angry and break the fan base up because, you don't win one year, because that's normal. 91 of those 92 clubs don't win the league every year. 91 of those 92 don't win the FA Cup. 91 of those 92 don't win the League Cup. And some of them never do. And usually 92 out of those 92 don't win the Champions League. So it's about enjoying the success, but don't hate when you don't succeed. Because if you hate it when you don't succeed, you're going to get more misery from that than you're ever going to get happiness from the success. It's just, enjoy it. That's what football's there for.
See, for me, you think it was a poor performance? I would say the first 20 minutes was poor. 25, I think after that it was all us. Generally, I don't think it was poor. I don't think you're giving Leyton Orient enough credit, and you've got to give Leyton Orient credit. You've got to. Like I said, this is the FA Cup.
Yeah.
And by the way, I think we've got a good chance. I think we've got a better chance when you look at who's left in the draw. Villa have gone through. Newcastle are through. We're through. Chelsea are out. Chelsea got battered yesterday by Brighton.
He just lost 7-0.
That's what I mean. So I think we've got to stop this self-entitlement each place Leyton Orient. What it was yesterday, people thought we were going there and smacking them 6-7-0. That's what it was, and that's the truth of it. People thought we were going there to win 6-7-0. Look, let's be totally straight. That was the expectation. And it isn't like that, as Liverpool found out today. United got over the line against Leicester with a dodgy goal in the end. Penalty. We should have had the bloody penalty. But, hey, never mind. Less on that, the better. I mean, I hate VAR, but we needed it yesterday.
Yeah, you can see where I thought, they might have been down to 10 men with VAR and we could have had 2 pens. I think there was a blatant handball, and I think, the one that Marmoush missed, they almost, I don't know, it looked like they played advantage for a definite foul, but then didn't bring it back. But then I'm not quite sure how that works with a penalty, but Marmoush was clattered. But, at the end of the day, I'm happy that we got through. We didn't get through because of VAR. We didn't, have that big Premier League club getting luck with VAR. We battled through, and at the end of the day, the goal that won it was absolute quality. That is as good a ball as Jack's ever done. It was a perfect run by Kevin, a perfect finish.
I thought Grealish was very good yesterday.
Quality. Yeah, he did battle. I thought a few of the players who've been maligned were among our better players. I thought Lewis was among our better players. I thought Grealish was among the better players. And I thought the ones that everyone's been bigging up, like McAtee and O'Reilly, were probably the ones who weren't, quite at that level.
Yeah. Look, listen, yesterday was a mixture of players that are coming to the end and are low confidence, and youngsters. And that's the kind of performance you got with it, and new players. It was a combination of 3 things: youngsters, new players, and players coming to the end. And that's all it was for me. That's all it was.
Yeah.
I know you have to go in the next couple of minutes. So we'll just wrap up. But overall, I'm very happy with it. We got through. The draw is tomorrow, around about 7:15. Martin, we are playing football on a paper, but we all know we have a massive issue on our defence. Well, let's just see how these new lads settle. We've had an injury crisis at the back formidable this year. Diaz, Akanji's been playing all season injured. Diaz has just come back again. Stones has just come back. Ake's just come back. It doesn't help when you're literally rotating your back line every single game. And that's just down to simple injuries. That's all what it's down to. I think people have just got to calm down because, like I said, listen, and I'm going to be straight to where it come from yesterday. The reason why it is, and I shouldn't really say this, but I had my children were threatened yesterday. So that was why I am currently in discussions with my other half. She's not very happy because my children were threatened yesterday, and that I cannot have. Come at me, but don't come at my children. And this is how sad it's got this year. To a point where people, because if you don't agree with someone's opinions, just don't listen to them. Ignore them. I often do that with Rich. Me and Rich don't always agree, and I ignore him all the time.
But then you usually come back 6 months later and admit I was right.
But I will never, ever, ever allow my children to be threatened. Never gonna allow that in any kind of levels. So yeah, there's some very messed up people just because we're not winning, and that's what it's because of. This is why I'm annoyed, because we're not winning trophies does not mean you can be a dickhead. It's bang out. Just grow up. Don't listen. Go to other channels, whatever. And like Keith said earlier on, anyone who does it in the chat is immediately getting banned. We've all agreed that. No second, no third, you're getting banned immediately. Mark Fogg, thank you. Didn't need to do that, mate, but I appreciate it. I am. I'm all right. It's my other half who's not happy at the moment. But I'll wine and dine her over Valentine's. Valentine's Day coming up. That's right. Yeah, I know it is. And listen, I do thank you. We get through the next couple of weeks, we should be okay. The fixture list gets lighter from the end of the month. And every player is now back. And hopefully Gonzalez won't be long. There you go. Loving it, Craig. And Craig, you know what we're going to try and do in the summer. And people will be happy then. People will be happy. Because I'm telling you now, City, let's put it on way. I'm not a betting man. I'm going to put money on City winning the title next year. That's how confident I am. Because that rich, I'm a betting man.
You should be.
Anyway, Rich, any final words, mate? Final comments?
I lost my betting man, but anyway, I had Leyton Orient to beat us and then us to beat Madrid.
But yeah, tomorrow night there's me and Tone at 9 p.m. No, sorry, I'm on the Real Madrid podcast, the same one Big Steve was on tonight. I'm on with them tomorrow about 7:30. Then we're going to go straight to us at 9 p.m. And there's going to be me, Tone, and hopefully we'll see who we can get on. I think Ozzy's coming on as well. Rich and Pat are always welcome on, they know that. And we've got the Real Madrid podcast guys coming in as well tomorrow. Because Real Madrid, if you think our defence is a problem, wait till you see what Real Madrid have got as a problem. Because they haven't got a defender. If Rich takes his boots Tuesday night, he'll get in the Madrid backline.
Yeah, I'd love to mark Big. I'd love to mark Big Earl.
Big Earl? He'd clatter you in 5 minutes.
Oh, it'd be good fun.
He'd clatter you in 5 minutes.
I wouldn't be able to get near him. He'd be moving around, and I'd be like,
"Yeah, I know." And I will send over all your lovely messages to my other half. But yeah, we will be fine. We'll be back tomorrow 9 p.m. But City are through, and that's what matters. That's what matters. But thank you so much for all the lovely comments, everything. It is appreciated, but yeah, warning again, there will be no Twitter stuff apart from sharing the shows for the foreseeable. Everything's going on hold. So yeah, take care all. Thank you, Rich, for hosting tonight in my absence.
no worries. It was it's right up my street, Leyton Orient. You know how much I love the dark lower division days. I was just
Wickham Wanderers still in it?
only I was there.
Wickham still in the cup.
I thought they'd gone out.
DC,
They could go out.
start.
They could go out to the Championship. They're currently second in the First Division or League One, so they could be in the Championship. So if we get relegated in the one with if we get a 50-point deduction, we could be playing Wickham next season.
I'll tell you what, by the way, Craig's right. I think I'll take my boots. I'll get a game for Real Madrid. And thank you, Foggy. You didn't have to do the super chat, but it is appreciated. And I will respond to your emails tonight. I promise you. But thank you. Yes, I am doing key for the foreseeable. They're going on hold, which I know will upset a few, but I'm not going to give the trolls any more oxygen anymore. Yeah, great hosting from Rich and Pat. Amazing. And yeah, I will see you all tomorrow night, 9 p.m. for where we count down to our annual game against Real Madrid. Take care all, and we'll see you on the next one.
See you soon. Bye.